Hello, my name is Trish Parrish, and I have the privilege of serving Lindsey Wilson College as the Vice President for Academic Affairs. It is a delight to be invited to share with you today. I am sure many of you have heard the adage, "We are flying the plane while we build it." This is a great image for those who engage in innovation, and I enjoy working within that scenario. However, last March, the world changed when COVID-19 struck, and we found ourselves needing to fly a new plane before we had the opportunity to build it. As you listen to this presentation, I am going to focus my approach to leadership throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. I will spend some time talking about traditional approaches to leadership and how those approaches prepared me for the past year. In order to lead our academic programs and community members, I had to find a new approach to leading that allowed for specific actions to be taken, but without the time to implement traditional leadership approaches. In closing, I will share what lessons I have learned about leading and how I believe we can emerge stronger as a result of the past year. In a previous L3 Symposium presentation, I spoke at length about leadership theory. Today, I want to give you a very brief overview of the guiding principles I have used as a leader. Collins focuses leaders on moving from good to great through a blend of personal humility and professional will. Bossidy and Sharon recognize the importance of making strategy a planning priority. Cotter outlines a process for leading change. Moss Cantor focuses leaders on finding ways to build optimism. Last, Greenleaf reminds us that good leaders must first become good servants. These theories have been critical over the past year. The second step of Leadership 101 is the use of data. When leaders make decisions, they look at data and learn from the experiences of others, researching similar situations to try and capitalize on successes and avoid strategies that lead to failure. Good leaders, I truly believe, get input from those who will be impacted by their decisions. It is critical that the people you lead are willing to implement your decisions, and that only happens when they know their voices are heard and their perspectives are considered. The last step of Leadership 101 is to evaluate the steps you take and adjust along the way to ensure a laser focus on your strategic goals, even when the process might change. Leadership 101 provided a foundation last March and throughout the ensuing year. However, it also left some gaping holes in dealing with a pandemic. In the midst of spring break 2020, COVID hit the United States, and we had to pivot on the spot. College leadership made the decision to close the campus. We had only hours to determine how to provide instruction to you, our students, and then to communicate those decisions to faculty who also were away on a break. Immediately, I turned to my Leadership 101 toolbox. However, there were no data to guide us because the last worldwide pandemic was 100 years ago, well before the technology age. I could not look at the experience of others in similar situations. I knew I had to get input from those who would be impacted, but they were not available, and time limitations prevented real conversation. However, I could pull on leadership theory and use the college's mission as a guide. Mission, of course, is the underpinning of strategy, because it focuses you on what you need to achieve. While I could not pull data, nor could I review the experiences of others in similar situations, I could pull on my knowledge of course delivery and of our surrounding area. I knew that we had students who did not have computers at home, and many who lived in areas without internet access. This had to impact the decisions I made. I also knew that not all of our faculty were prepared to create online content. These were contradictory concerns because using synchronous instruction like Google Meets would be great for faculty, but would exclude students who had internet connectivity concerns. As you know, we ultimately moved to fully online instruction last spring. This meant faculty training and support and work to support students became priorities. Within hours of our decision, a series of workshops were designed and published for faculty. The college developed systems to connect students to internet and make loaner computers available if needed. These steps came from Bossidy and Sharon's work that focused on strategy. The next several months were focused on Cotter's work in leading change. The pandemic established Cotter's sense of urgency, but teamwork and communication moved us through the next months. These are steps 1 through 4 of Cotter's 8 steps in leading change. Over the summer, I had the opportunity to practice servant leadership, listening to faculty about what we needed to do to make the fall successful, and putting plans in place to achieve this. We funded course design, hired an instructional designer, developed a plan for offering hybrid courses within a safe environment, determined to allow remote learning for students uncomfortable returning to campus because of COVID. All of these innovations grew from listening. So, what have I learned about leadership over the past year? It is important to respond with resilience. No matter what, we could find a solution and move forward. This is Moss Cantor's work in action. Most leadership theory, I have learned, does not put enough emphasis on listening. I have spent more hours listening than doing anything else over the past year. As a result, we have been able to adjust and add support that is needed. People need to know they are valued. And over the past year, that has meant not just listening, but attending to mental health, physical health, and personal concerns. In short, caring is foundational to leading. I spent about a decade researching caring in K-12 education, but the past year has taught me more about caring than all of those years of research did. We have to adapt to lead, even when our best plans may not work. Determine what works and keep it. Change what is not working. As the environment changes, be open to adapting your strategy. Now, as we are seeing the potential end to this pandemic, we must evaluate the past year to find the strengths we have built. And there are many. These strengths need to position us to be better as we move forward. Good can come from stress. And as a leader, it is my priority to ensure we find our strengths and continue to nurture them so our work is better in the future. Thank you for your time today, listening to my presentation. I hope you will keep track of your questions as I look forward to hearing them when we meet live on April 20th at 9 a.m. Thank you.